I mean, yeah, the first thing I want to talk about though is like regarding the playoffs, dude. We go out like 0-2 in playoffs, and I know yesterday I was really upset because of the whole Dylan internet thing. His ISP just would throttle his internet, force on playoffs. Like we practiced for 8 weeks straight. It's core 5. Finally make it to playoffs. We go 10-4 in Maine, and then we just came and played with the 5 for both matches. Like, it's so fucking unlucky, dude. I think the reason I was mostly upset because I kept on saying, I remember I was talking to my dad afterwards, and I was like, bro, like they didn't fucking deserve that win. I kind of like realized that the wording I was saying like kind of said something about me. Is that I felt like I was entitled to that win. I realized that fact. I was like, man, I'm not entitled to that shit, bro. I'm not entitled to winning matches. I'm not entitled to playoffs, bro. I'm not entitled to going pro. I'm not entitled to none of that shit. And just shit could just happen, you know? Like this shit's like ridiculous. But I think I got that sense of entitlement because like I've been running off that whole idea of if you work hard enough, like you can do anything. And I used to like really stand by that. But I think like as of recently, I like really realized that like that shit's kind of not true, man. Actually, it's not true. Like you can work your ass off and still not get shit, you know? And I'm not trying to say this to be like in a doomer, like black pill type of way, like, oh, don't pursue anything. It's more of like to get rid of that whole entitlement. Cause that's what I kind of realized was happening is that like I would feel entitled to these matches. I'd have this expectation like, oh, we're supposed to win. I worked hard. We're supposed to win. If you have that like whole, if you work hard enough, you'll get anything. Like you're basically giving yourself the expectation that there's going to be a reward at the end for your actions. And it's not consistent, bro. Like results are not consistent. And it's like the better advice or the better like mindset to have is like, just do what you find like enjoyable for the action itself. Like don't be doing it for results because you're not entitled. Like I got this from Healthy Gamer. You're not entitled to the fruits of your actions. You're only entitled to your actions. So just focus on the actions. It's like, I've been working my ass off trying to like, you know, win main. And I thought I was entitled to winning. All that entitlement did was give me this expectation of like what I'm supposed to be. And it gave me that sense of entitlement. So I'd tilt extra hard after we lose. And on top of it too, it added so much pressure. This extra pressure that like I have to do it because it's mine already. If I don't, then I'm like losing something. In reality, you're not losing anything. And the other thing it adds too is a lot of shame because it's like how the gamer talks about. It's like the gap between expectations and reality is what produces shame. And if I have this expectation that I'm supposed to win playoffs, I'm supposed to win main, when we don't, I have like all that shame there because that's not reality. We didn't win. I was thinking about like talking about this and just like titling a video something like I lied to you guys, because I've talked about this before. It's like, oh, if you work hard enough, like you can do anything. That shit's honestly not true. And another reason too why I started believing that as well is because I guess I've realized like how appreciative I am of like my family, and I couldn't believe that advice and then also be like show gratitude to like what my family does for me, because like I would not be able to stream, I would not be able to post these videos, like I would not be able to be consistent with that, be consistent with CS and grind this if it wasn't for my family. And it's like there's some people out there that don't have that shit, bro, like that support system. If I were to go pro, if I were to win playoffs, like it wasn't because of me, it was because of other people. It's not me that won that. Like there's so much help that other people have helped me with that has led to the success that I've had, that it's like it's not me working hard enough to get it. It's like, I don't know, I feel like just a sense of like appreciativeness that kind of went behind that. I don't know, that's just kind of like what I've been realizing. Just that whole advice kind of gives you a sense of entitlement, sense of shame, and a lot of pressure that other people don't have too. And that's the other thing I realized too, man. It's like, I don't know, there's people I just get shit on. I lose matches to people who just don't work as hard as me. And I like kind of sat with that, and I was thinking like, why am I losing to people like aren't working hard? And it's like there's like differences. Like they don't have the pressure that I have, that I put on myself because I'm working hard and I have this entitlement. And then also they have more time to chill and more time for themselves, like to relax, that I don't have because I'm like working so hard. And it's like there's probably some actual smartness to that. If you're like really trying to pursue something, man, like I kind of realized that like there's a really fine line you need to walk of like caring and also not caring. And it's like it's really hard to find that balance. Excuse the voice crack, but it's like, I don't know, you could do your best, bro. You could try your hardest, like we did all season. We practiced like what, 20 hours for, I think Andrew said this, we practiced for what, 20 hours for 8 weeks straight with a new fifth 2 days before the season started, just for him to have his internet go out at the end. It's like that's out of our control. Like you can still do your best, and shit that's out of your control, you like happens sometimes. Like shit just happens. Now I would be way more tilted than you if I couldn't play with 5 on some. See, that's the thing though, is I felt like I would have been more tilted if we actually lost, because I know like I'm responsible. Like we actually lost, but we went 0-2 in playoffs and we couldn't play with our 5. So it's not like I wasn't really tilted. I was more just like annoyed. I don't know. But I think the reason I was able to handle it better is because I just accepted the fact, like, it's just out of my control. Shit just happens and it doesn't say anything about me. Like, it doesn't, it's like, yeah, we lost. We went 0-2. There's no like other messages that come with it. It's just like, you going 0-2 just means you went 0-2. It doesn't mean like you suck. It doesn't mean that you're never gonna go pro. It doesn't mean you're trash. Like, it just means you went 0-2. Like, that's kind of something that helped me like with losses and shit like that, is that like I used to have like a lot of meaning behind them, but like in reality, you know, you lose a game, all that means is that you lost. It doesn't mean a bunch of other stuff that a lot of people have in their head, like, oh, they're better than me, or I'm worse than them, or I'm trash. Like, it just means you lost. Like, that's all it means.